Hi everybody, Dan Ullman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Friday, June the 23rd is race number 9 at Santa Anita. We're going 1 mile on the turf. It's an optional claiming race for California breds. Let's take a peek at this field. We are pre-scratches and program changes as we film this, but still head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take the field in post-position order. And Matt, the number 1 Hawk's Journey looked like was on her way to being a professional maiden. 0 for her first 16. This is your kind of horse. She's figured it out in her last 2 races. You have to like her tactical speed, but now she steps up to face the big girls.
Steps up in class. There's other speed signed on in here, but it is something to keep in the back of your mind going forward with any kind of race. When you find these horses that go on these prolonged losing streaks to start their career, but then when they finally win, they realize, oh, this is what I've supposed to have been doing all along. It's something to keep in mind. I don't love her in this spot.
Very logical contenders right next door. That's the number 2. Queen Bee to You, who has only raced once on turf previously, looked really, really nice, rallying to win that race. Connections put her back on dirt, got a valuable stakes placing. And listen, she beat a couple of next out winners, including that 3rd place runner who's come back to win 3 in a row.
Yeah, Starlight Styles come back. That most recent time that she faced off with her, that filly came back to win next out with a 78 buyer, and she continues to take steps forward. I believe she ended up most recently with an 85 buyer and winning. And Queen Bee to You looked like a winner every step of the way in that race, and it makes you wonder if this is what she's wanted all along. I understand they wanted to try the dirt. They got that stakes placing that they needed. You watch the way she finished, though, on turf. I really think this is what she wants.
One little concern I have, she's not the greatest gate horse in the world. Once in a while, she'll break a little bit slowly, but she showed a tremendous amount of promise, as Matt mentioned, in that race 2-back.
And you know what? I have to be honest. I actually don't think that's going to be a bad thing in a race like this if she is a step slow, because I think there's going to be a fair amount of pace to set it up.
Well, that would also help the number 3, Kennedy Sky, who came from off the pace last time out to finish 2nd behind the aforementioned Starlight Style, who returned to win her 3rd in a row against Open 1X rivals with a 79 buyer. I wonder if Kennedy Sky is slowly figuring it out for trainer Peter Miller. This is start number 12, but it's worth noting that her big race last year came out Del Mar, and I wonder if maybe that's the time you're supposed to get her next time.
Yeah, maybe when they get down by San Diego, that's where she's really going to shine. It's also worth noting that most recent race, she didn't have a lot of pace to run at, and if you think there is going to be a little bit of hitting up front here, maybe that helps her case.
Let's see what the Timeform US Pace Projector has in store for our Friday Formulator Race of the Day. We're not expecting a blazing pace, but it should be at least contested, with the number 4, Have It Your Way, a first-time turf runner stretching out from 6 furlongs to a mile. She should be forward.
I would imagine so. Most recently ran into Chipino Pasadena, one of my kind of pets. She's no superstar, but she came back to win next out with a 73 buyer. I don't know what you're going to get from this horse as far as ability is concerned. I will be stunned if she's not forwardly placed throughout.
Lucky Pulpit, her sire, wins with 9% of first-time turf runners. The dam has foaled 1 turf winner, and the dam's a half to a stakes place turf runner. A little bit of turf pedigree. I'd prefer to see a little bit more, especially if this pace scenario plays out.
For me, she's nothing more than sort of a pace factor.
Number 5, Golden Light. For Santiago Gonzalez, she was on the lead in 2 out of her last 3 races, failed to seal the deal. That's sort of been the story of her career. Lots of second-place finishers. She's a pace presence at least, but boy, this is a horse that likes the taste of money. In her last 5 races, she has lost at odds of 3 to 1 or less.
Yeah, she hasn't been any lower than 7 to 2 in any of her past 6 races, and you know what? She's just the kind of horse you look at that career box, 1 for 11, 6 times, 2nd or 3rd. I think she'll be forward. I think she'll stick around, but I don't think she's going to win.
Mark Glatt added blinkers last time to the number 6, Moonshine Annie, and the very lightly raced filly responded with a good maiden victory. Beautiful ride from Gary Stevens, who was just able to save ground, stayed extremely patient on the turn, grabbed the pocket at the quarter pole, eased out. Everything worked out well for Moonshine Annie, but I also think she ran, and she's always hinted at a little bit of potential with the speed in front. It should work out a nice trip. Maybe she gets the jump on the true closers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she's going to get a good trip in here. Should work out something similar to what she had most recently. It's worth noting each of those 2 races on turf going long, there have been strung out fields. There's been a legitimate pace signed on in both of them, so she's had good setups there. Even if they don't go quite as fast in this spot, I think she's still going to get an advantageous situation.
But she is stepping up against winners for the first time and should get bet off of that last buyer speed figure. The 7 is Veronica Bay. She's only 3 for 53 lifetime, but you can make the argument that she's finally returning to her best surface. 2 of her 3 lifetime wins came on turf. The last time she ran on turf was way back in January, but maybe that that was a tougher field. Mai Tai, the runner-up, came back to win with a 79 buyer, then second against open foes with an 84.
And if you believe some of the Timeform US ratings, she earned a 95 that day. That puts her at least in the mix a little bit, but I just, boy, I don't like 3 for 53.
I agree with the Timeform US pace projector. We'll have the 8, Sea Smoke, out there on the pace, as she's been in her last 6 races, and she's tired badly in all of those. I think she has a little bit of ability. It would be great if she could just settle down a little bit and work out that nice 3-wide tracking trip. I'm not sure that's in the arsenal.
Unfortunately, I just feel like we're setting ourselves up for a carbon copy of what we've gotten out of her. Going to be forwardly placed, going to end up packing it in down the lane. And I think of the 2 horses that have got a bit of a losing streak to them at this point, I prefer Golden Light over Sea Smoke.
How about the 9 Halo Darlin as a bit of a price potential long shot? Now, she's on a losing streak. She's dropped 13 races in a row, a couple of them at relatively short prices. But she's coming off about a 2-month layoff, and the horse she was in against last time out, Moonless Sky, is very, very sharp. She was placed first by DQ in her next race with an 85 buyer, that Franz Valentine Stakes, came back to win again. She's now won 4 in a row, that horse. This seems like a good spot from a class and pace situation for Halo Darlin. She just doesn't win.
I think you can make the case that she may work out the trip of all trips in this spot, where she's going to be mid-flight and in behind the pace ahead of the closers. The problem is, again, 7 times second or third from 14 lifetime and only 1 victory to show for it. She's one that if you're playing any sort of a trifecta or superfecta, you got to use her underneath.
Let's take a look at our top selections for our DRF.com formulator race of the day. You're going to go with the 2, Queen Bee to You, 2635. What price do you need for Queen Bee to You? 7 to 2, 3 to 1?
7 to 2. 7 to 2 is what I pegged her at. I just feel like this is the kind of horse that, you know what, one of these things is not like the other. In that turf race, that's the only victory thus far to her name, and she looked pretty darn good doing it. I know Pender's numbers with this sort of move, not particularly strong, but in a race where I think there's a lot of horses that just don't like to win races, I kind of want the horses that are not totally exposed, namely this horse and the horse you like.
That's basically my argument for the race as well. And I'm going with the 6, Moonshine Annie. I'm hoping she's not dressed up by that good trip and good pace situation last time out. I think that another step forward, she's so lightly raced, is in her. And I think she's going to get a good setup with the 4, the 5, and the 8, all likely to show pace. Gary should have Moonshine Annie in a great spot. I'm hoping we get the jump on your filly turning into the stretch, and maybe she can hold on to make it 2 in a row for trainer Mark Galat. If you are playing the Friday Great Race Place card from home, DRF Bets is where you need to go, because you start off with a $300 bonus. You're treated like a VIP for a week. You're given all kinds of great goodies, and all you have to do, new DRF Bet subscribers, is head on over to drfbets.com/VIP. Approximate post time for Rhythm at 9 at Santa Anita on Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.